Good evening and welcome. Today is Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. This is a special meeting of the Newburgh Enlarged City School District. Tonight we will begin with the pledge led by Mrs. Politi. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. McCoy, please call the roll.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Here.
Mr. Doré?
Here.
Mr. Grant? Mr. Harvey? Mr. Howard? Mr. Levinstein? Here. Ms. Mineo?
Here.
Ms. Politi?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Before we move into item 2.1, just 30 seconds I want to speak. My daughter sent me something this morning on one of our alumni. His name is George Kohler, and he's doing something really special this weekend. He's the Grand Marshal of the parade on Monday in the city of Newburgh. What makes him special is a couple of things. Number one, he's 100 years old. Number two, he's a graduate of NFA. He's a Goldback. Number three, we're celebrating D-Day in 2 weeks from tonight, June 6, 1944. It's the 80th anniversary. So he was on the second wave of D-Day. And we're celebrating Memorial Day this weekend. And I could tell you, without ever meeting George Kohler, that George left many of his good friends on the beaches of Normandy, and who are now in the American cemetery and never came home. And we honor those people, and we honor every soldier, every person in our armed services who has given their life over the course of this republic. So we celebrate George, and this weekend, please remember those who never made it home. Thank you. With that, we'll move into.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have item 2.1, the resolution to approve poll clerks to canvass the affidavit ballots.
Thank you. Give motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody, any discussion on these items? Anybody like to separate them? Okay, call the vote.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Doré?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Yes. Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Item 2.2, resolution to approve the meeting date for the canvassing of the affidavit ballots.
Got a motion in a second?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on this item? Yes, sir.
I think it would be appropriate if we asked a lawyer to give a quick rundown of the process and how this will work, if you don't mind, Mr. President.
Thank you.
What happens is that at the canvass of the affidavit ballots, the ballots are split into election districts, and first, if they're examined, and if there is no ballot in it or there's no signature, it's laid aside. And the other ones, the inspector will review the signature on it to see if it's similar to the signature. And at that point in time, we will already know from Mr. McCoy whether or not the Board of Elections has advised that these voters are in fact registered voters of the school district. The poll clerks, which is what you actually have appointed, will make a determination as to whether or not the ballots will be counted or whether they won't be counted. And then if there's an objection, then it will be up to the Board of Education to make a decision whether or not the ballots will be cast and canvassed. That's the process. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Howard.
So my question was, is there a reason that we're waiting till next Tuesday to do this?
Because the law says that we can't do it less than 5 days after the notice has been given to the candidates of the date of the canvass of the affidavit ballots.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. May, my question
is in regards to requirements. So we want to ensure that the individuals are registered voters, correct? Okay, so with such a transient population in the inner cities across America, people move on a regular basis. So if the individuals live in the district and they went to the wrong location, but they are homed in our school district and they are registered, what is the ruling on that?
There is no ruling on that, and I have to do some research about that.
Okay, because I definitely don't want to come to a situation where we disenfranchise voters. If they're registered voters and they live in our school district, I would like to understand what that ruling would be. Because some people in inner cities with the population the way it is, some people move every 2 or 3 months sometimes. Some people move every year. So I'm curious if their location is in our district, they are registered voters, will that vote be allowed to be counted?
Well, we'll know by Tuesday.
Thank you.
And don't forget that the education law provisions having to do with elections and votes are antiquated. They bear no resemblance to the election law, which has been updated consistently, and we have to live with what exists currently.
Any further discussion on this item? Call the vote.
Mr. Doré?
Yes.
Mr. Howard? Mr. Levinstein?
Yes.
Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
That concludes my items, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Item 3, get a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Mr. Howard?
Yes.
Mr. Levinstein? Ms. Mineo?
Yes.
Ms. Politi?
Yes.
Mr. Bergarelli?
Yes.
Mr. Doré?